Do 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 do. Do 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 do. What up? This is Shan, and this is Cozy Womb Podcast. This is Ari. Say hi.
Hi.
Say hi, Anya.
Hi.
What up? What up, y'all? This is Cozy Womb Podcast. Thank you for listening. My name is Shan, and this is just a Cozy Womb driving. More like a Cozy Womb laying because I'm in my bed. Topic is my parents never. And I thought about this topic because a lot of parents really don't do certain things that they should do with their children at a certain age, and then they grow up into adults and they may, wish that they did say or do certain things, may wish that they had certain moments with their parents and they didn't. So that's why I'm just going over this, just a little informative one. So my parents, both of them are from the Caribbean, from Jamaica. My mom, where is she from? St. Catherine. And my dad, I can't remember where he is from. He's deceased. If he was alive right now, he'd be 95. But he's not. He passed away when I was 18. When I was in college, we didn't have a close relationship by the time he passed away. More so because he always made me feel like after him and my mom split up over the years, when I was younger, around like 8 or 9, and I went back to visit him in Philly, he always made me feel like an obligation, like it's something he had to take care of, he had to do, not that he wanted to. And his ego got to a point where he was like, we don't talk because you don't call me. But at the same time, I feel like when you have a child, it's not always up to that child to reach out until they're 18 and of adult age. Anything before that, I feel like you needed to be making that effort. My mom, she's living. She's 65. She'll be 66 this year. She's not the healthiest, but at the same time, she was a great mom, very hands-on. Were there things that she needed to work on? Of course. But she's a great grandmother. She has 11 grandkids right now. She had 5 kids. I was the youngest of all boys, and the only girl, but I'm really not very girly, so I don't know if she was, she felt like a champion in the end, but yeah. And then I have a sister that's older than me and a brother that's older than me on my father's side that I talk to from time to time. So I had a lot of siblings, but my parents never talked to me, had that sex talk. Do I regret it? No, not really, because being that I had so many older brothers and I had sex ed in 6th grade when I was living in Maryland with my mom, I knew what I needed to know. But as far as a man's mannerisms and what a man will try and how a man would try to overtake what I know, nobody sat and told me that. I had to learn that with my second ex, because he was 7 years older than me when I was 18, and now we have a kid together, but because he was so much older, he always shared experiences that he had with me, or things that I have to look out for, or mannerisms as a woman that you should not do or you should do. So I had to learn that on my own, and I would rather not had to learn that from him, because it's kind of hard to learn from someone that you're with so heartily about a man and his mannerisms and a woman and what she should and shouldn't do. I would have rather had learned that from my father, you know what I'm saying? So men out there, if you have daughters, give them all the game in the world for when they're young, so when they get out there, they choose the right companion. My mom, she was one of 13 between her parents, and very introverted, very to herself, never confronted people who did her wrong. Till this day, she hates confrontation. Anytime there's an issue, she completely shuts down. And when it comes to society, how they say, oh, this is island women. Island women are crazy and they're super combative. My mom is none of those things. My mom is soft-spoken. I would say a pushover to many. Too nice. And she hates being critiqued. She's one of those people who loves doing for other people, no matter what, if they deserve it or they don't deserve it. And then when it comes to herself, she puts herself last. And these days, I feel like she's putting herself first, which I love. But before, she would put herself last, and I always hated that. And as an adult, when she was living with me, I told her, certain things you don't need to do. Certain people don't deserve certain shit, and you just have to peep game. When you see somebody's character, leave it at that and stop dealing with them. And she still doesn't get it. So I wish my parents never. My dad was very strict. My mom wasn't. I remember my mom whooping me one time, and growing up now, because I primarily live with my mom, I wish she was more so a person that disciplines, you know what I'm saying? And she wasn't. And I feel like now that I'm adult, my mom really didn't tell me no enough. My father, please, he'll tell you no in a heartbeat, you know what I'm saying? He stood up in confrontation. He stood up for himself. He didn't care if there was nobody coming to his house because they didn't like what he said. That was his house. He moved when he wanted to move around. He went where he wanted to go. He bought what he wanted to buy. You know what I'm saying? So I have more so of, that type of personality. And my mom always throws it in my face like, you're just like your dad. I'm just like, oh, that's a compliment. Ain't nobody running over me. Yes? Okay, can you be quiet? So I really, wish my mom was more strict coming when I was growing up. My parents never, had to come to school about me just being completely disrespectful or acting out or anything like that. My parents never had to talk to any other kid's parents about me over something I did. My parents never had to worry about me not coming home at a proper time or getting into trouble in the streets. And my parents never had to talk to me about drugs. That's something I had to learn on my own, which I don't mind. And, from 16 and older, I had my Uncle Ron around, who really just was point blank very honest about everything and just put it out there, and we discussed it in car rides. We discussed it when he would come to my aunt's house for Sundays and take me out for breakfast. We talked about everything, and he really stepped into that father role for me as an adult. and he passed away last year. No, it was 2017 when he passed away. And that was hard for me because, when people are good people in your life, you really miss them and you really wish you had more time. And so that happened. And I really wish that, my parents were closer to me. My parents were never those parents who told me that they loved me every day. It was just something I knew. Even now with my mom around, that's something we don't do. Right now, I'm not speaking to her for something she said, because I just really want, when I talk to her, I'm not angry. And right now, I don't know how to talk to her and not say something in a way where, good results are going to come from it. So I'm just not speaking right now, but I'll speak to her eventually. But she was never a parent that, told her kids that she loved them every time they spoke. It was just something that she just felt that she did. But at the same time, she was very giving, very caring. For my daughters, when she speaks to them, she tells them that every phone call. You know what I'm saying? It's very funny what, your parents would do for your kids, but you've never, ever had that experience with them. So it's interesting. My parents never, fought in front of me. I never seen that. You know what I'm saying? I've seen arguments where, my parents would be arguing about where I'm going or where I'm not going, and my dad would pull out and put his gun on his desk and be like, hey, if you want to go where you want to go, go. If you want to take your son and go where you want to go, go. But if you want to take her, you're going to have to take half of her. And a lot of that reason is why when it came to my mom going out and visiting people, we had to sneak that in between 7 a.m. and 5 o'clock in the afternoon or 5:30 p.m. before he got home, because he never let me, go to family houses, without him. He never let me go over friends' houses. I was never allowed to go up the street by myself. I was never allowed to sleep over friends' houses. I remember when I was in Philly, I was going to my friend's Turquoise's house. What a name. She lived at the end of the block in one of the row houses, and I asked my mom, could I go to her house to study? And my mom told me yes, but he wasn't even home, so I don't even think he knew. And I went over there to study, and that's exactly what I did. I studied with her, and then I came right home. He would have had a fit if he knew, you know what I'm saying? But my parents never did that, and I'm glad they never did that. My parents never bought a whole bunch of wants when it came to things I wanted to eat. What they were cooking was there, you know what I'm saying? Growing up, I never seen my dad cook. It was always my mom in the house. That when they were separated and I went to visit him, I think one Thanksgiving, he was cooking. Man, I was so pissed off that he was cooking. So I would say for me, with my kids, I would want to see, I would want to let them see that both parents in the household cook. You know what I'm saying? I would love for them to see that both parents respect each other and wouldn't put their hands on each other or wouldn't say spiteful things. I remember being in my house and feeling tension in my house between my parents, and I didn't like that. And I don't ever want my kids, to feel that. My parents never... I don't remember them going to the same church together. My dad went to a Catholic church, and sometimes I would go with him. My mom went to a Pentecostal church that her parents went to in Philly. And then after we left Philly, and I was 9, she became a Jehovah's Witness, and everything stopped. And I'm just like, dog, I don't understand this. And when I became 14, I just told her, like, I'm not going with you to the Kingdom Hall. I'm not going with you to the Kingdom Hall. I'm not going with you to quote unquote church or whatever this is, because I don't understand it. It doesn't make me feel good. This is your thing, basically, and I just told her I'm not going. And since that, I've never been like the most religious person. I've never said, you know what, oh, I'm Christian, or oh, I'm this, or I'm that. I've just, found my own relationship with the Creator on my own. You know what I'm saying? My parents were never, it's so hard for me to say my parents were never, because I wasn't with both of them for very long. I don't know. It's kind of weird. My mom never. Let's say my mom never. My mom never stood up for me when I wanted her to. When it came to people hurting my feelings, or people doing me harm, or her relatives just being shitty people, she always just shut down. And I always hated that, and I always felt like since I was I want to say 9 or 10 that I had to be my own parent in a way, even though she was in the house or in the apartment or wherever. I felt like, Chantal, you have to protect yourself. And I don't want any of my girls to feel like that ever. Like, anybody disrespect, mistreats you, like, I'm there, I'm standing in it, and you have my full attention. I'm never gonna shut down when it comes to my kids. Just whatever you feel like as a parent you wish you had as a child because you needed it, give it to your kids. And maybe your kids don't need it, but you never know. Give it to them. I'm not talking about materialistic things. I'm talking about things that will shape their character as adults. Affection, hugs, encouragement, build their confidence, time with you. Kids are not bills. Don't just pay off the things that they need, to live and breathe, but also spend time with them. Share silence with them. Watch a show that you really don't understand or care about. Do a puzzle with them. Play a game. Like, all of that. Like, I can't believe, like, board games are so, like, left field right now. Spend more time with your kids. Be excited when you come home and you see your kids. They need that. If your kid is not excited when you come home, you're not spending enough time. So just be aware of that. What are some things your parents never did that you wish they did as an adult? Especially if you now have kids and you really, push whatever you push on your kids now because your parents didn't. Tell me, talk to me. Anyway, it's Sunday morning and it's a sad and a good day because this is my chill day. This is my day where I do my face scrubs and my mask and my candle lighting and my relaxing and my silence and my intimate breakfast with my kids where we sit at the table, we talk, and I may do pancakes in different shapes and stuff. So I'm gonna spend some time with them. Y'all be good. Bye.
Good night, good night, good night, good night.